Electricast.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
The kids are still at practice, and I have no idea what's for dinner.
You can get a rotisserie chicken and 2 sides for just $15 in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Who said that? Who's in my house? Don't play with me, because I'm not the one.
It's just your friendly Walmart announcer. This is a commercial.
Oh, okay. You were saying dinner for a family was just $15?
Yep, it'll be at your door by the time you get the kids home from practice. Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Subject to availability, restrictions and fees apply.
Now that was a helpful commercial.
Welcome into Missing the Point. It's a two-man show today. It's the Bob and Dave show, as we so carefully name it when we want to give a disclaimer, because it might get a little chaotic in here. As you know, longtime listeners of this podcast know we are the only two non-Patriots fans, so we have the pride, the privilege, nay, the pleasure to not be on the Patriots podcast where they have to talk about all things wrong and how to put out the building when it's already on fire. We get to talk about the rest of the NFL. So here with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kelly, the real BK. Bobby, how the heck are you, buddy?
Still gathering my festering wounds over the weekend.
Get to that. We'll get to the Dallas Cowboys for sure.
Okay.
This is a tough week for you, a good week for me. We'll talk about that for sure. But
I'm good.
What I do want to point out, and I'm sure every NFL fan that tunes into this podcast has noticed, that was a fucking crazy week one, but
it was the craziest week one. Like I said, that I think I've seen maybe ever, man. That 1 o'clock window was the craziest endings. Just in a 10-minute span, you had the Steelers upsetting the Bengals. You had a tie in goddamn week one of the NFL season. You had 2 14-point comebacks. It was just everywhere you looked, there was chaos happening in the NFL. It was amazing.
I love it. I love the chaos. It's amazing. So here's what we're going to do every week during the NFL season. And actually, you do the power rankings before the first week, right? You do the here's where we are. So we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the week one power rankings after week one. Bobby does them. So perfect guy to have here to really talk through it. I've got my concerns about some of the people and some of the places. And I do have a couple of honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10 after the fact. So we're going to start with 10 because we have a limited number of time. And honestly, everybody after 10, with a couple of notable exceptions, isn't quite worth talking about yet in the league. So let's start off with the New Orleans Saints. They came out and they had a serviceable 1-point win over the Atlanta Falcons with the strangest quarterback probably in the league. Not quite as much of a geek as Russell Westbrook, not quite as stoic and private as Tom Brady, but somewhere in the middle we have this wonderful Jameis Winston. So for whatever he does, he'll at least be entertaining. Bobby, what'd you make of the Saints?
So listen, I don't know what it was that really propelled them into that top 10 for me over a lot of the other teams that I was considering. I'm pretty sure really where my gut was going with this was that Michael Thomas connection, man. If you look at that wide receiver group, I'm just so impressed with how they built that up that I don't think it really matters that Drew Brees is gone. And if anything, it with Jameis there now in that wide receiver core, I almost look at them as my opinion has completely 180, where at the beginning I was I don't know about Dennis Allen. I don't know about Jameis. It seems like a lot of transition to listen, Jameis with these wide receivers and Alvin Kamara, I really think they can make some noise in that NFC South. So I feel like this is more of a statement number 10 for me that I really think that the Saints could be a good underdog to go after in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, they did have a scoreless second quarter that, they did start off a little bit tough, but I think that real good teams come to play in the fourth. Personally, and, I know we talked about this in the Discord chat prior to this recording, but personally, I mean, it's tough for me to rate any team because of a W over the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, that is a team with absolutely no weapons.
Especially a comeback victory over the Atlanta Falcons.
I mean,
says everyone in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have Cordell Patterson, who I've always liked. Former Bear, a dynamic runner. Good on special teams too, and I think he got himself a touchdown. But like, if you go up and down with no help, no study guide, and you're not an Atlanta Falcons fan, how many Atlanta Falcons can you really name? I think they're probably the 29th, 30th, or 31st best team in the NFL at this point, right around there. So for me, yeah, I mean, on paper, I don't mind the Saints. Like, I like the fact that Jarvis Landry's on that team. He's a very likable player. I like the fact that Jameis Winston's on that team, and he's going to get a little bit more airtime because he's fun to watch and he's a little bit weird. But yeah, but for me, it's I know it's a week one, and I know we do a football podcast here at Missing the Point, and we have to talk about it. But I don't think that, and I think this is going to be a recurring theme, what I'm about to say. I don't think that tells us shit about the New Orleans Saints, to be quite honest with you. I really don't. I mean, the Falcons were bad enough with Matt Ryan at quarterback, like an aging Matt Ryan at quarterback. And I mean, we're not even going to go there about whatever the hell is going on in Indianapolis, but I think that it's important to take a little stock with teams like the Saints, realize that Jameis Winston throws as many interceptions as he does touchdowns most of the time, and maybe pump the brakes on top 10 in the NFL. That's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But listen, if there's one person that that loves week one overreactions, it's definitely me. And I'm just saying that I think that when it comes to what you saw in that first half, right, it definitely was a slow start. It was a bad start for this team. They were down, I think it was 26 to 10 or 20. It was
26 to 7.
26 to 7. Going into into the fourth, they were down 26 to 7.
26 to 7 going into the second half.
Okay, that's funny. It's very close to 28 to 3.
But then they won 27-26. The Falcons didn't. I mean, it's.
So
Sorry, I'm sorry. They'd ended 27-26. They were down 16 to 7 going into the second half.
Okay,
I gave them an extra 10 points there just for charity purposes. But they're down 16 to 7 and they came back and won.
The Saints had a lot of like I said, a lot of transition. Plus, Jameis was hurt, Thomas was out, so I just feel like they had to settle into that mode. And once they did, man, they're electric. I just looked at that team like in the NFC, especially. I really think they can make some noise. So in the end, it really just was a statement. Number 10. Who are the honorable mentions that you would have saw?
Okay, yeah, I think I
know you're
agree.
going there.
I think it's a good time to do the honorable mentions because I think they're two teams that maybe shouldn't have gone higher than 10, but could have potentially squeaked into the number 10 spot. I'm going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just think it's more impressive. Let me just make my case here. I'll give you like my 3-point case make early in the season. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that they're the same powerhouse Pittsburgh Steelers that they were when we were in high school and college. I'm not even saying that they're going to win, more than 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. You're saying they're not even going to make the playoffs. I think that's patently ridiculous, but they have one of the best coaches in the NFL. And if people want to argue with me about that, I would just argue it's not necessarily because Mike Tomlin is unbelievable. I think he's a really good coach, but I don't think there's that many good coaches in the NFL. I think that's the issue we run into. And guys like Mike Tomlin, who have been tenured there at their franchise for as long as they have and never had a less than 500, above 500 season, you just got to give them credit. You got to give them credit for that. Also, they're offensive weapon factories. They can get guys from the third round you've never heard of that to come in and put up numbers, 1,000 yards receiving on a season. It can just happen, right? So difficult to count them out for me for the credibility factor, but also they beat the team that's number 5, I believe, on your power rankings and the Super Bowl runners up, which I just find more impressive than beating the fucking Atlanta Falcons. You know what I mean? Like, I just do. Now, I understand that because of the nature of the region that this podcast comes from and the kind of people that we have in this group, that you grade the Steelers on a little bit of a curve. And I understand that they're like a woman in the 80s in corporate America, and it's just hard to climb that ladder. But come on, man. Najee Harris looked good. That defense looked good. They blocked a kick. That doesn't happen all the time. JJ Watt, Fitzpatrick, they look good and mellow.
I'll let you know that they absolutely were in the running for this number 10 spot. There's no doubt. But when I watched the Steelers on Sunday, I was really impressed. I said this to you. Mitch made some big boy throws.
Haven't even gone there yet.
Listen, I'm telling, Mitch made some throws at the end of that game. They did do everything in their power to lose that game, though, which you can't gloss over. 100%. They were like, "Hey, Bengals, win this game, please." But at the same time, Minkah Fitzpatrick is just an absolute animal. I don't know if there isn't a player like him in the NFL. He's he's a one and only. There's no one in the NFL that you will see have a pick six and a block kick that are both momentum turners in that game. You know what I mean? Like that's just not going to happen. So
He's a beast.
yeah, he's awesome. I'll give you that. Again, they're on that curve, and I couldn't from what they were. I mean, I guess the Saints were worse last year, so I don't know. I just don't like to
Look,
see it.
I mean, I've made this point to you before, and I think it still stands. Ben Roethlisberger was the thing making the Steelers worse last season and the season before that. He was the guy losing them games. I'll also say that any team, in my experience, I can't think of one that this didn't happen with realistically. Any team that has a little bit of a QB competition in the preseason either sucks going into the season for the entire season or takes a little bit to get going. You're going to have a shortened playbook for Mitch Trubisky coming in. So, yeah, you're going to run out of a little bit of offensive ideas towards the end of the game. And they did that. They started to limit what he was doing because obviously the defense is going to get more reads on him, and he's not Tom Brady. I'm not saying when I talk about the Mitchesons, I'm not talking about him becoming Tom Brady, but I'm talking about him having a very good offense around him and able to win double-digit games this season, because we all saw, and I saw firsthand what it was that brought down the Chicago Bears over the last few years, if they ever even got up in the first place. And it was Matt Nagy and that shitty fucking front office. Yes, that front office drafted Mitch Trubisky, but Matt Nagy was a terrible coach. He was supposed to be this offensive guru. He was fucking terrible. And he was a fucking dork, and his stupid hats. Anyway, sorry, that's a sensitive subject. But visors, come on.
That went right quick.
Just put a whole hat
that went right quick.
Put a whole hat on, dude. What the fuck? I should have known when I saw him with the visor the first time. Anyway, look, point being, that really shouldn't be Mitch's fault because everybody follow the logic. It's like SAT logic, right? If everyone in the NFL knows Justin Fields is good, right? I'm not saying he's the best QB in the league, but everyone knows he's good. He's talented. And Matt Nagy made him look shitty. Then maybe Mitch Trubisky might be good too. I saw him put up good games in Chicago, man. I just did. He's not as bad as everyone says. I understand that he was the butt of a lot of jokes, but he's not Kirk Cousins. He's not Chad Pennington. He's not in that category of like fucking good old boys, farmers that they found that have an arm that are stupid. I know he has a stupid looking face and he looks like a stupid guy, but he just isn't. And in a really good offensive scheme like that for a really good coach, I think the sky's the fucking limit. Maybe not the sky, but like a really tall building.
You might not be able to keep that Kirk Cousins reference for long with this season, but we'll get there.
Well, I mean, think about we'll get there. I'll defend my Kirk Cousins takes all day. Look at his weapons, but
yeah, no. Listen, I'm with you. There's a lot more potential in Pittsburgh than there was. I would temper. They also beat Buffalo week 1 last year, and Tom was a great coach, and I feel like when you give him that much time to prepare for a team, he's going to come out and they're going to put up a good game.
Sure.
And again, the Bengals played the worst game I've seen them play in 18 months.
There is definitely an argument for a Super Bowl hangover here. I mean, if there is ever a team that would have a Super Bowl hangover, the way that they lost, the kind of improbable nature of them getting there in the first place, I think it would be this Bengals team. And it remains to be seen how big of a win this actually was if the Bengals are going to be a 9-18 this year.
I just feel like you had to have a team play the worst that they've played since pretty much Joe Burrow came back from that ACL, since they got Jamar Chase, and they still almost won. And you had to see one of the best
on the field. They're still on the field. You know what I mean? You can only play what's put in front of you.
Right, well, I'm just saying. And one of the best kickers that we have in the NFL missed 3 goddamn game-winning field goals.
One was blocked.
Well, yeah. So it's because, I don't know, I heard the announcers talking about this. I was watching the highlights earlier.
The
long snapper was out. Yeah. So it messed up the timing of it all. So you had to have all those circumstances happen.
Let me tell you something about that long snapper.
To sneak out
fucking
that
kick rocks with that long snapper. Okay, are you really gonna come to me as the Super Bowl runners?
The 0.3 second difference. Okay,
no, I'm sorry. Fuck that. Kick the fucking stupid ball through the stupid uprights. You got one job. You have the easiest fucking job on the team.
I heard you like kickers though. Is the word on the street is
we shouldn't. Kickers are stupid. It's just stupid. You should have to try and get in the end zone to win the game. That's how you score in football. Like the fact that some fucking 165-pound nerd can come out and kick the fucking game-winning field goal. It's fucking stupid. It's stupid that Tom Brady owes Adam Vinatieri 2 fucking Super Bowls. It's crazy talk. You got to get in the fucking end zone. Anyway, I'm getting too excited. We got to get through the rest of these fucking power rankings. The other honorable mention, and obviously if you haven't figured this out, first-time listeners, there's a severe bias here, but the other honorable mention for number 10 was the Bears. Now listen. That fucking San Francisco defense, great run defense, terrible inclement weather. I fucking told you guys in the fucking preseason prediction show that San Francisco team was still fucking messed up because of how they run their organization. I fucking told you the talent on the team is notable, and their defense I think is really good. But fuck, man, they're weird, you know. And I think I enjoyed my Bears coming out with a win. I wasn't expecting it. I'll be honest.
Definitely not expecting that. The best thing for them was that it was an absolute goddamn monsoon.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
you love great. A game like that, though, don't you?
Fields slip and slide at the end of the game. Yeah. That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I was like, don't get hurt. God damn, he slept for a long time.
I got nervous. I'm like, Justin, go to the locker room. Ice up.
So as TikTok starts playing on my phone. So the thing that just kind of scared with the Bears, man, they started, what is it? They were 3-0 last year, weren't they? And the year before they were 5-0. So it's like, they're notorious fast starters. Are the Chicago Bears?
They do flatter to deceive, like historically as a franchise. But I mean, everybody's argument here. And look, I'm not going to sit here week 1 because of one win and make the case that the Chicago Bears are going to be the NFC champions. Or am I? No, I'm just kidding. So, like, here's the thing. Well, yes, I agree with you.
As I'm looking up numbers, I'm like, oh, what are they?
No, I mean, look, I agree with you, and that has been a thing in the past, and they've been like the worst 5-0 team like 2 years ago, you know. But I think it's a completely new coaching staff, it's a completely new regime, and I think that as a Bears fan, and I'll leave it at this because we got to get through the rest of these power rankings. As a Bears fan, I liked what I saw from a intelligence standpoint, from a discipline standpoint, from a preparation standpoint. And I think that those are just good signs. You know, that's where we are as a franchise. We're looking for good things wherever we can. I was upset that they didn't improve the offensive line as much as they should have to protect Justin Fields and to establish what really is our most offensive threat still probably, which is our 2 really good running backs. But I think the guys are trained well. I think that Eberflus might actually be a good coach. I'm really glad that we've started a new regime there. And if they beat the Packers on Sunday night, we have to have a conversation about number 10 on the power rankings. We have to have a conversation about it, even if it's fleeting, because the Packers do not fucking look good, and they're not on the power rankings, so we can talk about that if you want.
Number 10 is my revolving door, man. You know this. Like, number 10 is like, they're my, like, hey, check it out. You know, I thought about this team.
No, I love that.
The other one I left off before we get through, I'm sorry, is the Packers aren't on here. I feel like that's really notable, but they looked like absolute dog shit on Sunday.
Or did the Vikings look really good?
Right. Well, that exactly. So Aaron Rodgers was terrible. It's just the whole thing was terrible.
I mean,
and
he has been dog whistling that he was going to suck this season all season.
Did you see Pat McAfee asked him if he was drinking ayahuasca? And he didn't say no.
You're not supposed to be on ayahuasca now, Aaron. No. Dude, I mean, I would love that. I mean, almost more.
Hey, Aaron, is that ayahuasca?
This is almost more than the Bears doing well. Almost, not quite, but almost more than the Bears doing well. Do I like to watch the Packers fail? And I very rarely get to do it, except usually come playoff time. I fucking always get to do it. So moving on, you said that number 10 was your revolving door, but I think that there might be a little bit of revolution here at number 9. You are so much higher on the Eagles than I am. And I want you to make the case to me why beating a Detroit Lions team by 3 points, shipping 35 points to them, and beating them by 3 with Jalen Hurts as your QB gets you number 9 in the power rankings. This is going to be our biggest point of contention. I just don't get it.
So I think that they thought, so they had that game of control, man. I was watching it. They had like watching a red zone. And I was like, all right,
really? I don't know if I agree. They didn't score one single point in the fourth quarter, and the Lions rallied. Well, they let the Lions rally. They let them stay alive.
I feel like what happened was they got into this is the Lions of the old mindset, and they went off the brakes and they let things slide. But this isn't the goddamn Lions of old, man. This team, what we all watch Hard Knocks. this team has that grit, man. They actually do.
Hard Knocks is a curse, first of all.
It is a curse, but I actually like what they're doing there in Detroit. I feel like they have a mindset where they're not going to quit. And the Eagles were up on that team and they let off the brakes. Listen, if you have I know Jalen Hurts is
trick or treat, man. All or nothing.
All day long.
Yeah.
But when he is treating, his treats are pretty damn good. You know, and he got those.
No, he's fun to watch when he's playing well. He's fun to watch when he's playing well. I will not take that from you.
AJ Brown, man, he had such an element to that offense. He was 10 for 155. You know what I mean? Like elite wide receiver play adds so much to an NFL team. It adds so much to your quarterback. Like you just see it in their head where like they know if the shit hits the fan, they got someone that they can be like, hey, catch this. And they're going to be like, yeah, got it. You know, it's such a different element. And
look what happened with Kyler when, when
DeAndre goes down.
When DeAndre got there, when his wide receiver core just got better.
Look what happens with Dak when he doesn't have fucking Amari. Anyways, that's a whole different story.
Yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it. We're doing that at the end after the power rankings before the preview. By the way, we're doing Cowboys Despair Hour, but stay tuned.
Yeah.
Big market tease.
That's a big market tease. All right, I get it. I get the concerns over the defense. Totally get it because I was high on that defense, and after that week 1, I'm like, maybe not. But I can tell you that I'm higher on them and the NFC than a lot of teams. The NFC is not that good. So
no, the NFC. I mean, we talked about this in the prediction shows. The NFC is fucking trash.
Yeah, it's not good. And I just look at it as like if you're telling me that there's 2 other teams maybe that have a better chance to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC, and I just looked at what happened in week 1, who was on the team, the projector, like that. What happened to the Cowboys? Like, there's so many different things that are trending in the Eagles' direction that I was like, you know what? Number 9. Yeah, I couldn't go any higher than that. But it just the upside's so high that like it is right in front of them. Everything's
they are all upside at this point.
Yeah,
but I think we'll see because they have to go and play who next week. Who are they playing? Are they playing the Vikings next week? So, like, I mean, they might drop off your power rankings that the Vikings play like they did week 1. Okay, let's move on to the Los Angeles Rams. A little bit of a boring team to talk about right now because I don't know if we can actually really say anything about them getting their asses kicked by the team that they got their asses kicked by, right? I mean, I think anybody was going to be a lamb for the slaughter going in against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen in week 1. I think they would have beat anybody in the NFL last week. They look like such a powerhouse. They're to quote a very famous post-game speech, they are who we thought they were, but a little bit in the opposite direction. The Bills are fucking good, dude. They look good. And we'll talk about them when we get to the top of the power rankings. But right now we're talking about the Rams. Stafford doesn't look like himself. I think there's something to be said for the rumors being true about something being up with his arm and this just not being their year again this year. What do you think?
Yeah, no, there's one throw specifically that he is I think it was the pick. I forget who picked it up, but it was a pick over on the sideline.
Yeah,
where it was the out, and it was like normally he makes that zip pass, and it's in there, and it kind of floated a little bit. And, it was noticeable. Another thing too is the O-line was noticeable, but they lost Whitworth, who's just
which is really not what you need if he's banged up.
Right, and it didn't look good to me, man. And I love the Rams, and I do think that
I wouldn't go that fucking far.
No, listen. The reason they're on this list is because the pedigree. They're the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah,
and you can't lose to the team that I think is the best team in the NFL and drop off.
Totally. Listen, we don't know much.
Champions, right?
We don't know much about it after week 1, but there was some worrying signs. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying you should be worried if you're a Cooper Kupp fantasy owner. I still think he's going to put up his numbers.
He's the only one you shouldn't be worried about.
I mean, honestly, he still had a touchdown pass. He cut over 100 receiving yards. He's going to be fine. Honestly, he might even get more targets if Stafford's struggling, to be honest with you, because he might need to rely on him a little bit more. And Stafford's actually famously good. I think, I've been critical of him in the past. When he gets going, he can really spread the ball around. And I really didn't see that last week, but I think that the Bills do a good job on the defensive side of the ball of kind of stifling you and not getting you into rhythm. And that is the way to beat Matt Stafford. But also it might be his fucking elbow or whatever, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. And the Bills defense is good, but yeah, I mean, Allen Robinson, it's like Stafford didn't even, I don't know if they don't have the chemistry. Yeah, but Stafford
I tried to tell you guys.
He wasn't even looking at him, bro.
Dude,
Wasn't even looking.
But I tried to tell you guys, A, he's an asshole. B, he weirdly lost a step and like doesn't. I don't know if he's working hard or I don't know what the deal is, but I did try to tell you guys he's just not as good as everybody thought he was. He wasn't in Chicago for the last 3 seasons, so it's unsurprising to me.
And the Cam Akers thing is weird.
Juju going to Kansas City to me was a much bigger deal and a much bigger addition than Allen Robertson going to LA. You know, I think they're guys that are sort of talked about in the same way, where it's like, yeah, he was good for that one season, but then has he really produced at this level, whatever. But then I think the other thing is everyone's saying, and another parallel is, they both had quarterbacks that weren't elite, so now you give Juju Mahomes and you give Stafford to Allen Robertson. Like, let's see what happens here. Both wide receiver ones, both guys that can catch the deep ball. But I think it's going to work out a lot better for Juju. To be honest with you, and as far as offseason moves go. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, getting beat by the Bills shouldn't really mean that you are a bad team, right? Like, I think we can agree on that.
So I know it's a huge week 1 overreaction because they're on the prime time on that Thursday game. All eyes were on them.
Yeah.
But I've heard their name a lot as like the fallback team for this year, and possibly not in the NFC, not making the playoffs. In the NFC, I don't see that happening. But
the champs.
Yeah, but like
after what you just said about the NFC, come on, no way.
Yeah, you could see a season from hell happening from them, and them ending up at like 10-7, 9-8. Though
it sucks that they got fed the Bills in
week
1, though, dude. I mean, like that is a big week 1 overreaction because the Bills are going to walk over everybody. They're going to have one weird game this year where they lose. Like that's what's going to happen. And I think, fuck, dude, they're so dynamic. Like, do they play the Chiefs this year? Do you know?
Let's see.
I mean, I hope so. I would imagine so. I hope they do. That's the game. That's the game of the season right there for me on paper. Looking forward if it does happen. But anyway,
October.
Soon.
Week 6.
Yeah, great. I love that. I want that.
Can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Is that a night game? What is it?
4:20. They gotta put that at night. They should put that in. That's not a nighttime game.
It has to be prime time. What the fuck?
Has to be prime time.
It's prime time. 4:00 is prime time that week. So like, let's fucking go.
Yes.
That's cool. Moving on to
what's prime time that week? It's probably like the fucking Ravens and the Colts or some stupid shit.
Yeah, some fucking stupid. I mean, the Monday night game is trash. But anyway, that was like 2 blind guys trying to find a fucking apple on the ground. I did not enjoy that fucking game at all. But let's talk a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens. Moving up, I think this podcast is split on Lamar Jackson. It is fucking split on Lamar Jackson. Where are you on Lamar? Remind me.
The ceiling, man. Listen, when he puts the pieces together,
Rob Williams take.
Yeah, but it's a fucking hell of a Rob Williams, bro. Like it's Rob Williams if he had a 3-point jumper. You know what I mean? Like
he should develop a 3-point
jumper.
But
that's what Lamar is. Like if you think about it, man, when Lamar's on and he's dropping dimes like he was on Sunday. Like if he's dropping dimes and he's the fastest player on the field, like what the hell are you gonna do? Then I hate to keep banging this drum, but they played the Jets. I know. Agreed. They look great against it. It's like the cupcake game where Alabama beats them like 63-0. I get it.
Yeah, I mean it's the Jets, dude.
But I like Lamar this year. So as long as Lamar is there and doing Lamar things, I have a feeling they're going to be on this rankings a lot.
Is he in a contract year?
Yeah. He's gonna end up with a lot of money at the end of this.
Scary though. Like Lamar Jackson in a contract year, he's fucking, and I saw him. He was working out in the offseason. Like he's ready to go. I do just think ceiling, but I think that, I don't know this for sure off the top of my head, but probably Mike hates him. I would imagine Mike hates him, right? Just knowing how Mike watches football. So one of our other podcast contributors, Mike Marcangelo, I would imagine, I'm sure I remember him saying this, but knowing how he watches football and sports in general, I would imagine he fucking hates Lamar Jackson and does not believe that he'll ever achieve that ceiling. And I think his argument, just to do a little proxy argument, is, his ceiling's great, but like he's never going to hit it. So who cares?
I can hear that coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. I mean, it remains to be seen. He has everything to prove still. I have no doubt that he's going to have a really great statistical regular season, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to how he does in the playoffs. And the AFC is a bunch of sharks, my friend. Whoever he sees starting from the first round is going to be a good team. And I hate to bang the drum of like, I don't mean to be Skip Bayless here, but that historically they've stuttered when it comes to playoff moves and making any kind of run. I don't think anybody is really taking them seriously to contend for a championship, but are you?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned at home. All right. Moving right along. Minnesota Vikings. This is a good one to talk about.
I want to talk to them.
I have to say, I'm automatically down on the Vikings. I was on record being correct as everybody overrating them the past few seasons. I think they've been consistently overrated the past few years. Yes, Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. I do not think he's talented, but good God, their weapons. That is some fucking receiving core. That is, they have the juice. They have the juice. They're like corn. They've got the juice. At the end of the day, I love the fact that they came out and fucking smashed the Packers. Love that. Cook and Jefferson are obviously studs. They're super, super, super fun to watch, and they can even make Kirk Cousins look good on offense. I love where the Vikings are on this. I don't like the Vikings. I'm anti-Viking, but I think you put them exactly in the right place because I think they have upper mobility here. I think that they could win maybe their first 6 or 7 games and be a little bit of a dark horse sleeper for the NFC and on this side of the ball. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go down as the biggest addition. There's a lot of movement in the NFL this year, right?
Yeah.
The biggest addition to me was Kevin O'Connell going to the goddamn Minnesota Vikings because I think people forget that he made Jared Goff a all-pro quarterback and had him go to a Super Bowl in Los Angeles. That was his offense, guys. He made Cooper Kupp a record-breaking receiver. I mean, granted, Cooper Kupp's amazing, guys. I get it. He's awesome. But it was Kupp even said it. I just felt like I was always open because he puts me in the places I need.
Yeah.
He has Justin
He was like,
Jefferson.
I was surprised. He was like, I was surprised how many open looks I got.
Right. And now he has Justin Jefferson in that same role. Listen, I love Kupp, but he is nowhere goddamn close to the athlete that Justin Jefferson
Athletically,
is.
no.
And it's the ceiling is so high with this Minnesota Vikings team, man. They're like my second team that I'm going to be rooting for season just because of how fun.
I was so high on the Cowboys for you. And now you're going to take an NFC North team as your second team? Why do we have to have a blood feud this season? That's crazy.
It's every football season, bro. It's what we do. Everyone else is all loving the Patriots, so we got to fight somewhere.
I mean, honestly, quite frankly, I think I was saying it the past few seasons. People were high on the Vikings the past 5 years at different times, and I think I was saying it from an educated perspective. The fact that I watch my team play them twice a year, I have to know if they're good or not because I have to know what my division looks like. And I was saying the past few seasons from an educated perspective that they were not going to be good, and I was proven to be correct. However, I don't think I can keep saying that. They looked real good. They looked well coached, as you were saying about O'Connell. Finally. They looked like they had studs all over the field. I can hear to do another reference of another one of our podcasters coming in here. I can hear Rayshawn just being like, dude, I do not trust Kirk Cousins though. When the game's on the line, when this is happening, I can see it. I can see an NFC a conference final, some big game. I can see Kirk Cousins and I can see Jefferson wide open. And I can see Kirk Cousins fucking it up. I can't. It's clear as fucking day.
Costing me so much money because I know I'm going to be
in my head. It's 8K right there. I can see it clear as I can see you right now on the screen.
Yeah.
So fair.
Totally.
However, I can't be down on them this season. I can't. Not from a Bears fan perspective. I hope that they fail, but from a podcasting trying to talk about the NFL from an educated standpoint, I can't. They looked fucking great. The Packers didn't look great. The Packers looked bad, but I think to me on the eye test, hard to describe. Maybe not good radio, but on the eye test, it looked like the Vikings did that to them. That's what it looked like to me. It didn't look like the Packers Aaron Rodgers didn't look like himself, whatever. But to me, it just looked like an executed game plan, executed well with talented people versus a franchise that I think is not in the right place. And I'll say it now because the fucking Packers didn't make the power rankings. So we're not going to talk about them again after this.
That's probably the best part of the entire podcast.
I love it. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah, no, it's just this. I feel like they kind of flipped in my mind where now I feel like the Packers kind of look poorly coached. The Packers kind of look like they're a mess. They still have some talent over there.
I think they have a little bit of LeBron-itis. You know, when you let your star players sort of decide who your coaching staff's going to be and decide who's like going to go where, and then he goes in the offseason and he's not doing that work.
Trips balls.
Yeah, he trips sack on fucking ayahuasca, which listen, I don't fucking hate him for. And
no, I like him
them
more for it, honestly. Yeah. It's just not. It's not conducive.
I can't like
to
him
being
more.
a winning quarterback. You know, like
yeah, and like he went on Big Cat's podcast and basically took shit from like the most famous Chicago Bear podcaster. And
he literally sat there. And was like, I want to let you know that the best part of my entire year, every year, is when you lose in the playoffs.
I mean,
it happens a lot. So I have good years every year. It's great.
And you lose a lot. You fucking and like he said everything to Aaron Rodgers that I would pay all the money in my bank account to tag you to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that was great.
But I loved it. Yeah, listen, NFC North, you know, we talked about it a little bit in the prediction show. It was like maybe not being that interesting this year because all the teams sucked. But I think maybe watch this space. I think there's maybe some interesting things that might happen, which is only good for us, Bob. So moving on, I think what we're going to do is we're going to skip the Bengals. I think we've touched on them a little bit based on the Steelers wants to watch part of the podcast. I think that I personally think, let's just make a quick prediction. I think they're going to turn it around. I like Joe Burrow. I think he's a good quarterback. They're a talented team. Him and Jamar Chase have one of the most telepathic connections of a quarterback and wide receiver I've ever seen. Probably because I've never seen two players that have played together that long across two different competitions, you know, like for two different levels of the game. But I like them. I like what they bring to the table. I think Joe Burrow is mentally strong, and I think they're going to be able to turn it around. Quick prediction from you where you think the Bengals season's going.
I just look at this as if Evan McPherson does what he's supposed to, we're talking about how resilient the Bengals are and how they outlasted all that and still came back and they're, on this run again. So I'm not overreacting to that week one. I'm not doing it. Yeah. If they lose next week to the Cowboys, they're fucking off. I'll tell you that. But
they're fucking out. Kenny Powers.
That's it.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that, they were, like you said, they were a field goal away from winning, and then we're not having this conversation about what's up with the Bengals. So moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A weird offseason for Tom Brady. He's a weird guy. I'm pretty sure he drinks the blood of babies. I don't know what's going on with him. Hey, Tom, where were you in the offseason? Had to go make a new deal with the devil. The ink on the contract had run a little bit dry and we had to sign something again. But he's back and he played against your, I'm so sorry, Dallas Cowboys. Now, I was going to do Dallas Cowboys despair hour, but I guess we can just talk about them here in the context of losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Looked like they might have stayed in it at the start. Brady stalls a few times going into the red zone. I personally loved what Julio Jones looked like. Tom Brady's got him drinking fucking, kale milkshakes or whatever the fuck, and he looked like himself again. Looks motivated, looks reinvigorated. Really excited to see that, running end arounds with him. Really smart. I kind of like the play calling a little bit better this year with the new coaching staff. And I think Tom Brady has, again, not lost a fucking step. So before we get into what's going on with your Dallas Cowboys and maybe I don't know if you only want to do one commiseration this season and then never talk about them again. But before we do that, talk to me about how you saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the context of putting them number 4 in your power rankings. Tom Brady still got it or what?
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, watching that game, I watched it with a realistic Patriots fan that is not shade of throwing at any of the podcast members. That anytime he watched him walk on the field, he's like, I hate watching him in another uniform because he's so goddamn good. Listen, Brady still has it. He absolutely has a deal with the devil. We've been saying this for years, man. Like, and I feel like he has, like you said, he has sign offs on that deal with the devil that he now added Julio onto, that he added AB onto, and then he fell off, and that's why he got kicked out. I don't know.
But, I was talking about this when the wife and I were watching the game. I mean, the fact that he always seems to find a weapon
every time,
but he finds a weapon that he doesn't have to give anything up for. It's never a trade, Like he goes and finds a guy that he's like, I remember him being good, like when I was fucking only 38. You know what I mean? Like, let's get him in.
Wide receivers that are wily vets. That came into the league 10 years after Tom Brady. But yeah, it's Tom Brady, man. You know what I mean? But I have to say that they should have beat the Cowboys by a lot more than 19-6.
That's a crate. Tough to level that at them. I mean, fine. This is a good time to transition. I'm going to ask you a couple of key questions here on how you feel about this. Cowboys defense isn't the problem. They're not the problem.
No, they're the only thing that's not the goddamn problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's only two things. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I thought the Cowboys defense looked exactly as good as I thought they were going to look. If you have them on your fantasy team, I wouldn't be that worried. They might be on the field a lot, but I mean, the play calling already is terrible.
Listen,
The weapons.
all right,
I
no,
can't believe how bad the weapons are. I was shocked the fact that I only recognized one name in the wide receiver core. I told you what was going to happen with Zeke. He's not your RB1 anymore. He's getting paid too much money sitting on the bench. That's a fact. And he looked like a fucking Power Ranger in that stupid helmet he was wearing. He's not the same guy anymore. He's not trying as hard. It just is what it is. And I'm talking about this completely out of the context of Dak's hand getting hurt. I'm talking about what we saw in that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's criminal what they did to him. I specifically said this is Dak's do or die, put up or shut up season. And you can't say that when you give him guys that are, well,
no, you can't.
Brady'd make those guys look good though, right?
No, he wouldn't though. He would. Listen. All right. So the Cowboys,
the floor is yours.
What they did to this team, you already said it, bro, is absolutely fucking criminal. They took the number one offense in football last year. A wide receiver, statistically, actually the number one scoring fucking offense in football. They had wide receivers the first week it was CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and we have Michael Gallup, Cedric Wilson. Like, you just go down the line of dudes that we had that Dak could throw the ball to, right? Do you know who our number 2 goddamn wide receiver was this week? Noah fucking Brown. Do I know who Noah Brown is? Yes.
You do now.
I do, right, exactly. He was our bro. He was our number 5 goddamn wide receiver last year.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, right? So what they did in the offseason, I get it. We couldn't re-sign Amari. He's getting paid too much. You trade this guy for a 5th round pick, and then you elevate. And
I understood. Listen, I'll just interrupt you for a second.
Right?
I understood not re-signing Amari Cooper.
I
understood that because we had this argument all last season of Amari Cooper comes back, it's going to be a totally different thing. Amari Cooper comes back, it's going to be a totally different thing. A, he couldn't stay healthy, and B, when he did come back, it wasn't a totally different thing. So that move I understood, and that move I defended in the offseason. But go ahead.
Okay, so do something and replace him with fucking someone.
Definitely
okay?
Correct. Yeah.
Like I get it, but you got to do something to make your team better. That is what you should be looking at all times, is to make your team better, especially in this window that we have. We have all these elite guys on rookie goddamn contracts that I know Dak and Zeke take up a lot of that cap, but like, you don't get a Micah Parsons on a rookie contract that often. You don't get a Trevon Diggs on a rookie contract like that.
Yeah, that really could be a generational defense that you're about to waste. Right, I went through it.
You gotta capitalize on this shit. And for you to roll out Noah Brown and fucking, I can't even remember his name right now. I'm so mad. Houston, the undrafted wide receiver, as your 2 big guys, right? As your 2 and 3. And then for me to watch an undrafted wide receiver drop a 4th and 2 pass that is the game, and that's who you're fucking throwing the ball to after everything from last year, after that offense that we saw. And that's the product that you put on the field to me in week 1. Like you said, regardless of the Dak injury, go fuck yourselves, Cowboys. Like, I love the Dallas Cowboys, man. I do. I love them to death. But by the 3rd quarter, I was just beside myself, where I'm just like, listen, I'm at the acceptance piece already. This team, everything that we said was wrong in the offseason, all the Cowboys fans, like, you didn't get any O-line depth. Before the season even starts, Tyron Smith goes down. O-line is in shambles. Wide receiver, like, why didn't you replace Amari? First game of the season. The biggest thing that is so noticeable is just the lack of talent at the wide receiver group. Mm-hmm. So it's just like these things that the most common Dallas Cowboy fan is pointing out in goddamn July and August are the first things that show that you're not a competitive team this season. Is so infuriating to me, because like they could have addressed any of this. We have all this cap space and they don't fucking do it. And it's just so, it's just it's like the Red Sox argument to me. What's the direction? What the hell are we actually doing here?
Yeah. What is the culture? You know,
what are we doing?
Are you studs? Do you bring in studs with more studs, or like the Cowboys seem to say, or are you not? And I think that's kind of the case, at least. And I'll say this to sign off on the Cowboys talk. And I'm glad you got to vent a little bit on your podcast here, but at least they didn't get your hopes up. At least they didn't get your hopes up for 8 weeks and then shit to bed. You know, at least you know now that this season is done.
So. And the Dak injury, the Dak injury just kind of like cemented it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Dak's
He
out.
also can't fucking stay healthy, dude. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I understand that these are injuries that are like, they don't seem like soft muscle injuries where you're like, why are you not, like maybe you're just being a bitch or whatever. I understand they're real injuries and they're real things, but it's like, stay fucking healthy, dude. Yeah. Stay healthy. Tom Brady had one season where he didn't play and they still won 11 games. So moving on to the Chargers, they look fun. I mean, I'm really into Herbert. I've told you, I think he's going to be the MVP this year. I think he's looking really good. I think he's got some weapons. What do you think? I mean, they're your number three. Are they your obligatory number three?
I like the Chargers a lot.
Is that what it looks like, or what do you think? I mean, they're looking good. And by the way, we're gonna do a little preview at the end of this, so we have to rush through the last few. But they're playing the Chiefs, and it's gonna they're playing the Chiefs on Thursday, which is, if you're listening to this, tomorrow. It's today. If you're listening to this, they're playing the Chiefs today.
Right?
They're playing it today. Sometimes time is hard. Time is difficult. It ebbs away every second, it seems. But they're playing the Chiefs today. Everybody, they're playing the Chiefs. As you're listening to this, you better tune in. That's going to be a real litmus test for both teams, and I'm really excited to see them. And my entire fantasy team is made up of either Chargers or Chiefs. So, what do you think? What do you think of this Chargers team? They look good.
I love the Chargers this year, man. I mean, the Herbie connection is so real with this team, man. If you watch like the all 22 footage of Herbie from this last week, if you ever had any doubts about this man, I promise you won't anymore. I can guarantee you that. Listen, there was a couple throws that he made. There was one with Chandler Jones was like draped on this dude's back foot, which is your plant foot, and Herbert still threw the ball like 22 yards on a rope. And
I was trying to tell everybody. It's
crazy. This guy's
in the preseason. I was trying to tell everyone. No one to believe me. You said specifically, you were like, man, this is a hype train right now. You said there was a whole ass hype train that I was jumping on. That's what you said.
I didn't say you were jumping on the hype train. Listen, I agree with the hype train, but the hype train always scares me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying our podcast, because our podcast likes Jimmy Garoppolo, an average quarterback. It's not great.
Okay, 1/6 of our podcast likes Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's be real here. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, no, I like the Chargers. I like what they're doing. Keenan Allen being out hurts, but they have
playing tough teams twice a year.
Listen, they have wide receiver depth to make up for the Keenan Allen going down.
They got Eckler.
And they have Eckler. They have weapons, and they have great defense now. They have a really good defense. J.C. Jackson didn't even play this week.
Their defense,
they
saw them building their defense.
3 picks
you
and 2
saw them
fumbles.
building their defense over the course of the last few off seasons. You saw them adding pieces, and it was just smarter, because I honestly think they had a game plan to go for it this and next year. I think they were building and building and building to say, this is when Herbert's going to hit his peak. This is when our offensive weapons are going to be as affordable as they're going to be. The next Austin Eckler contract is going to be fucking ridiculous. Like, this is when we're going to be able to really come to fruition. So they slowly added pieces to their defense so they could be 8 out of 10 on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. And I think that they might have the MVP on their on the offensive side of their ball. Now, again, I mean, I've said this in other shows. The MVP isn't necessarily the best player in the league. The MVP is the guy that gets the most attention, right? Like, the best guy that gets the most attention. I really do think that it's going to be Justin Herbert this year. So I'm glad I'm on record with that. They're fun to watch, man. And you know what? They're the local team where I'm at this point. So they're always on TV. So it's just good. It's good all around. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a cool division to watch. I think there's going to be narratives. But you had a little quiz.
No, I was gonna ask you. So I just put a connection. You're in LA. They're in LA. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a Chargers jersey walking around in LA?
All over the place.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I would say probably I saw more Chargers jerseys when they were still in San Diego than I saw Rams jerseys. Okay. To be quite honest with you, the Chargers as a franchise are pretty well established here. I think they're the real deal, and I think Chargers fans are the real deal. To be honest with you, I think San Diego is a really underrated city, and if you ever have a chance to go visit it, do. Now that they're in LA, are they the redheaded stepchild of a team here in LA? Yeah. But I fucking hate the Rams because they got Stafford and I hate Stafford. So I'm all in. Let's fucking Chargers season, baby. Bolts for life. Now that this isn't the same Chargers.
No personal motivations on this show.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't the same Chargers with Damian Tomlinson walking around throwing a bitch fit because his team wasn't good enough to beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. This isn't the same Chargers. You know, like give them a little bit of a revamp. They've had a whole ass rebrand. Okay, moving on to your number 2 Kansas City Chiefs. Makes sense. Let's just do the Bills and the Chiefs at the same time. Makes sense. Same division. Both absolute fucking.
honestly, they're in their own tier. You look to the right-
Absolute fucking studs all over the fucking field. Can't wait to see them play. You know, same conference, but the AFC Championship game is your number one and number two of your power rankings, and I can't wait to see it. Studs everywhere. Kansas City Chiefs getting slept on because people are giving it the LeBron syndrome, where they're just bored of watching the best team every year, right? The Bills have built their team on the Kansas City Chiefs model. You know, like this kind of studly, kind of semi-mobile, well, not semi-mobile, but not only mobile quarterback. Weapons everywhere, and a defense that can just like basically compete. I love it. I love it. I love the model. I think this is the era of football we're in. I think the Patriots era is over. Sorry, the other half four people that do our podcast, but I think the Patriots era was over. And I think this is going to be the battle of the Titans for the next 7 years. What do you think?
Man, it's unbelievable. I guess it's not unbelievable. It's very believable. We
saw it coming. You know, we saw the rise of the Bills happening. We knew this was going to be the year where they were really going to come together.
The Chiefs portion of it though is I love it that Tyreek
that they're still good.
There's all this, you know, is Mahomes, has he lost it a little bit? Is he going to be able to do without Tyreek Hill? And then he comes out on Sunday, bro, and is just slinging the ball all over the place. I think he completed passes to like 9 different receivers or something like that. Like it doesn't matter who's out there. He's still going to be throwing no-look passes. He's still going to be going deep. Juju looked awesome. There's a lot of positive things.
Still got the best tight end in the league. I mean, yeah.
And then the Bills, bro. The emergence of Gabriel Davis to me, I feel like is such a big story for this team because they already have Diggs. They already have, you know, the running back group and Josh Allen. They just never had that like second real big option. And now Gabriel Davis is a big time guy who makes big plays on big stages. And that's something that wide receiver, when you have a guy that can do that, that's so key to have. You know what I mean? And then another point to point out for the Bills is they won that game against the Rams without Tre'Davious White. So they had a rookie corner and a second-year corner playing as their 1 and 2, and still shut down the Rams. So they're only going to get better from here. The Bills are my easy pick. I think that are going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, you look at that team, bro. They're good. Like they could go. I'm just throwing this out there. I think they can start 12, 13 or no. Yeah. If they get to like 10, 11 or no, 17 or no, it's definitely.
Well, we'll see what happens week 6 when they play the Chiefs. I think, you know, the Chiefs are such a well-run team. I know that there's this sort of Andy Reid thing of like, oh, he makes it here and then whatever, but I don't know if he's ever had talent like he has talent right now. I mean, to look at a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, for example, like a running back that I think a lot of people kind of wrote off for, you know, not having the size, not having this, not having that, and being like, yeah, I mean, he's on the Chiefs. Like that was kind of everybody's attitude about it. He caught 2 touchdown passes in the weekend. He looked fucking great. And he probably would have had another touchdown and he'd not been benched because they were basically in garbage time because like in the third quarter, because they absolutely romped on their opponents. I think that both these teams are the teams to watch this season. I don't think that's news.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So we've gone a little bit too long in the power rankings, which is unsurprising. So I'm going to do a little tiny pivot to just rattle off this season preview, or the week 2 preview, I should say. And we're going to play a little game. I'm going to tell you the matchups, and you're going to, within 2 seconds, tell me the winner. Don't overthink it. You get the matchups. You tell me the winner. We move on to the next game. Are you ready to play?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. DK Sizzles, quick fire preview. Chargers play the Chiefs today. Who you got?
My God. 2 cent Chargers.
We're already going too long. You said the Chargers. Try to say it into the microphone. It's kind of the whole thing.
Oh, my bad. The Chargers.
Okay, good start. That was the Thursday game out of the way. Jets, Browns. Who you got?
Oh, my Jets.
Wow. Okay. Commanders, Lions. Who you got?
Lions.
You got to be quicker.
I'm not good at this, bro. Yeah.
Buccaneers, Saints. Who you got?
Bucks.
Well, I thought you were big. We started the whole show with how big you were on the Saints. Panthers, Giants, the game nobody's going to watch.
Panthers.
Patriots, Steelers.
Steelers.
Oh, 2-0 Steelers. Okay, Bobby coming around on the bandwagon. You need someone to watch this season. Colts, Jags.
Colts.
Dolphins, Ravens.
Ravens.
Falcons, Rams.
Rams.
Seahawks, 49ers.
Seahawks.
Whoa, big Seahawks resurgence. I love it. I think you called the favorite a few times and you thought you had to go for the underdog. That's what I think happened. He's laughing because he knows I'm right. Bengals, Cowboys. Ugh.
Oh, Bengals by a lot. By a lot.
Texans, Broncos.
Broncos.
Cardinals, Raiders.
Raiders.
Bears, Packers.
Bears.
The Bears.
Just
baby.
for you.
Let's
That's for you.
go. I love it.
Is that
Two
Monday?
Yeah, no, that's the Sunday night game.
Sunday.
2 Monday night games coming up, and I'm going to hit you with them quick. Titans, Bills. You
Bills.
kind of already said it.
Bills. Yeah, Bills.
Yeah, and then Vikings, Eagles, 2 teams you're high on.
Vikings.
All right, that's going to do it for Missing the Point. I am DK Sizzler for myself and the real BK Bob Kelly. You have heard it here first, folks. The Bills are the best team we've ever seen. Holy shit. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks. What did you do on your last Saturday night?
Did you hear something?
Toilet paper.
There's nada. The reserves have gone dry. People are hoarding it. I should have done that.
They're all out of hand sanitizer at my Target.
Mark, when did you last watch the news?
We are getting reports of forced quarantines in China, Japan, and now Italy.
You're cutting onions in half and putting them around your apartment.
Yes, exactly. It kills the COVID.
Excuse me?
Let's go, get in.
Vamos, rápido.
Have you ever driven one of these?
Never.
I'll drive, ladies.
I've got the keys.
Excuse me, I'm lost. I'm looking for my wife. I got turned around.
Join me, Eric Roberts, Jennifer Elise Cox, and Ed Asner for The Last Saturday Night, an Electrocast podcast. You'll love it. Electrocast. Electrocast.